Hello and welcome to Money Control. This is Jerome Anthony and you're watching Reporter's Take. Wockhardt shares soared almost 12% during intraday trade. The reason behind this is because the company is looking for potential suitors to sell off some strategic businesses and reduce debt. To tell us the latest developments here, I have Money Control's Ashwin Mohan with me. Welcome to the show, Ashwin.
Hi, Jerome.
Ashwin, so can you tell us, we had reported earlier, in fact, that Wockhardt is looking to sell its strategic businesses. What's the latest development here?
So, Jerome, first of all, let's get this straight that Wockhardt does have a debt burden, and that debt burden stands at about 3,200 or 300 odd crore rupees as of March 2019. And there are certain debt repayment deadlines that are coming up, and that's the reason why they have to be in fast track mode and reduce their debt burden and raise funds.
Right.
Now, the reason why this time around there seems to be a lot of interest is because in the past, the promoters have in fact tried to sell some of their various businesses and even offer a minority stake. But suitors were interested in a majority stake. They've also tried to sell brands, but that's also not met with too much of an enthusiastic response. This time around, what's been put on the block are certain select business segments of Wockhardt. Now, Wockhardt, Jerome, is present in several segments. It's present in the cardiology segment. It's present in the ophthalmology segment. It's present in various segments. So certain segments have been kept aside. Certain segments have been offered for 100% stake. And that's the reason why, Jerome, you are seeing enthusiasm among several investors.
Okay.
And also keep in mind that these are domestic businesses. So therefore, there are lesser regulatory risks, as we are all aware, when it comes to lesser exposure or perhaps minimal exposure to the US FDA when it comes to overseas assets. So that's the genesis of this deal.
All right. Ashwin, three things here now. Firstly, what's the valuation here that we are talking about? Secondly, who are these bidders? And thirdly, will this be a mix of both strategic as well as private equity suitors?
You're right, Jerome. It will be a mixture of both strategic as well as private equity bidders, because it's not always that you get a business of such scale and size,
Right.
So Wokhart's business comparatively is quite big, and like I told you earlier, they are offering a majority stake in certain select businesses or segments, and therefore any company which sees any synergies in its existing segments and what Wockhardt is offering, they would be interested. So that's the reason why there is interest. Now, when it comes to valuations, valuations are extremely important because valuations, Jerome, can make or break a deal.
Right.
If there is a valuation mismatch, then the deal may fall through. What I'm given to understand from my sources is that Wockhardt is expecting anywhere between 2,400 crore rupees to 2,700 crore rupees as a combined valuation for its select business portfolios that have been put on the block. So that's the deal from a valuation standpoint. Let's wait and watch to see what kind of bids come in, Jerome.
All right. Lastly, Ashwin, when can we expect a deal to conclude? Any timeline here?
Right. So currently, as we speak, Jerome, the suitors are conducting due diligence on these businesses, and we are expecting that the bids by the suitors should come in, say by end of November. And who are the suitors, Jerome? We have to mention that as well. The suitors are Dr. Reddy's, the suitors are Cipla, both domestic rivals, and of course two private equity players, that's Carlyle and an Asian investment fund called PAG. So these are the four players who are currently in the race. Bids are expected by the final week of November. Let's wait and watch to see whether this time around Habil Khorakiwala manages to strike a deal and reduce that debt overhang over his stock, Jerome.
All right, Ashwin, thank you so much for these valuable updates. With that, we wrap this episode of Reporter's Take. For more news, views and updates, stay logged on to Money Control. Thank you for watching.